Hello, this is Rich Gurman. I'm the founder of the JV Insider Circle, and I want to welcome you to another edition of JVIC Success Stories. And I'm excited today to be interviewing someone that I've actually never met before. You could see her smiling face right there. And this is Melodee Meyer. Welcome, Melodee. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very good. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
So it's nice to meet you too. And I got to tell you, I've never spoken to you before, but the bar is very high because I'm hearing amazing things about you and what you're up to in the world. So we're going to have a great conversation here. Can you first begin by telling me, tell us about your business model, like what you do and who your target market is?
Okay. So what I have actually a brick and mortar business here in Santa Barbara. I have a martial arts school. We teach martial arts and fitness, kickboxing. Nice. And what I wanted to do was to take what I was doing, and I do business consulting in that arena. What I wanted to do was to take it online and create an online business. And so right now, my key market is entrepreneurs who are wanting to grow their business, because I actually grew my brick and mortar business from scratch. And I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, but this business I've had going, and it has provided for me and my family for over 17 years in this one location. So I was getting asked a lot to coach businesses, and so that's what I started doing online.
I love that. So what I love about this is that we work with a lot of people who, when they first come into our world, they have a brick and mortar business. They have maybe a consulting practice where they're meeting with clients in person, and what they really want to do is they want to move it into the online space. So how did you tell me more about that? And just so you know, typically these interviews, we're focused on joint venturing and how people have used joint ventures to build their business. And we'll probably get into that, but I'm just curious really how you made that segue yourself, because I think you can really help a lot of people in sharing your journey. Yeah, how did you make that journey from, I have a brick and mortar business, but now I really want to expand my reach and go online?
So I had certain areas of expertise that I wanted to get out there. So the logical thing really was to design a course where I could leverage that knowledge and get it out to more people in a course type setting, which is how I hooked up with Iman in the first place. And then designed a course based on what happened was I had already written some books and I knew how to create a bestseller. And so I decided I was going to do that for entrepreneurs, because I really believe in marketing and establishing yourself as an expert. And knowing that having a best-selling book had done wonders for me. So that's what I did. My first course was all about, it was called the Ultimate Bestseller Formula, and it was about creating a bestseller book. So I developed a course, which then built a following online.
I love that. So it's funny because everybody in our community gets to go through Iman's trainings, and I always say Iman is a wonderful trainer, and if people just did what he said to do, that they would have great success. So for you, what were the specific steps that you took? Sorry, my neighbor's dog is going crazy. The joy of working from home. What were the specific steps that you took in following Iman's training that led to your success? Because I never really get why people don't just follow the steps, because they're not that complicated.
And he says that all the time, right? He says, like, I told you to do this. Why aren't you doing this? And if you just did that, then right. And you would actually shortcut a lot of things if you just did it. So I would have to say the biggest thing for me, okay, so doing the course, important, having a webinar and having a webinar funnel, all of that, great steps. But the thing that turned everything around for me was having live events. So I took my courses and he kept saying, you have to follow it up with a live event. And I'm like, oh no, I just cannot deal with that right now. And really that made all the difference. I made more money in one weekend than I had made in my consulting practice online the year before.
Explain how you did that. I don't want to make an assumption, but the way I've always done it is we'll create an online course. In my world, it's our community here, JV Insider Circle. And part of our offer is we gift people as a bonus. It's not part of the core offer, but a bonus. And I can explain why it's a bonus and not part of the core offer. But we bonus in a ticket to our live event, which is called JVX. Is that how you did it, or did you do it
exactly? That's exactly. And what you said, Rich, is very key. It needs to be a bonus.
Explain why.
Well, the reason is if you say it's part of the course and then people look at the date and they go, oh, I can't make that, then they think they're not going to get the value of the course. You got to make them think and believe, and it's true, that the value is in the course and that the event is an add-on which will just enrich it. So it's really important that they buy into just doing the course completely separate from that, but then you do everything during your course to get them to the event. It's really important. It's the most important thing that they do, is that they come to the event, but you have to add it on really as a bonus.
You are a good student. You're obviously a good teacher in your dojo and also a good student, which is awesome. And I guess the best students make the best teachers. So, so tell us then, so you got people to come to your live event, and then what happened at the live? It sounds like it was a big success. What happened there?
It was a great success, and I was able to start my year-long coaching program for entrepreneurs, and because that's where I really knew I could make the biggest difference, right? Is in long-term programs, that's where people actually make their transformation. Courses are nice. Events are even rah, everybody feels good. Let's all have a group hug and everything, right? I mean, people literally at the end of the weekend, they're going, I'm going to stay in touch with you. You're like, oh, you're my new best friend and all of that. But then 2 weeks later, it's like, who are you again? I'm not taking your calls, right? So, but a year-long program is where the difference actually happens, and where people become accountable and they have to stay consistent, and you can really be with them. And since my background is actually in spiritual psychology, I love working with people on like their personal development, and frankly, being an entrepreneur is just a personal development seminar disguised as a business, that we get to really find the blocks that keep us from having the success that we deserve.
Now I know why I knew that I would enjoy talking to you, because I've been doing this for 20 years. I became a coach back in 1999, so over 20 years now. And I've always said, like, I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I'm getting paid to basically do my own personal and spiritual growth, because we're just talking about it all day long. It's like, how lucky are all of us who get to do what we do. I love that. So let's continue the conversation. Congrats on your success, by the way, and having the courage to do the live event, because a lot of people, the thought of doing a live event, it definitely takes most people out of their comfort zone for sure. I want to talk about JVs a little bit. So it's one thing to create your online course, and I think that was great teaching that we shared about bonusing in a live event versus making it part of the core offer. I think that's a huge takeaway in this conversation. So I'll frame it this way, Melodee. I've always said this: to succeed using our methodology really only requires two things. One is having that online course that you can sell, which then could lead to the upsell, which you sold at your live event. And it requires having a way to promote that online course. In our world, it's having a community of JV partners that can promote you. So once you created your online course, how did you promote it? Did you use JV partners? Did you already have a list? Or did you go use a different technique?
So what I did is I did use my my personal contacts for my beta group.
Yep.
I really reached out, and actually even with the other people who were learning how to build a course in Iman's course, they became my JV partners essentially.
Perfect.
And yeah, so they knew I had experience in this and that I could do it, and they trusted me, and so they sent people to me. I did do the Marketers Cruise last year, which I was able to develop some JV partners. What was interesting, however, is that a lot of people that that I thought would become my JV partners first became my students.
Nice.
Yeah, which actually helps a lot. So I think it might even be a great technique, depending on what your products are, of course. But a lot of JV partners that I would talk to about my offer, they're going, well, I need this. It's like, well, great, let's let's get you successful in it. And then I knew that it would really filter down to their lists in another level.
Well, that's a testament to you, meaning they met you and felt, okay, I think that this woman can help me in my own life and my own business. So that's awesome. And B, that's something that we've been teaching people for years. Like if you want to get on the radar of a potential partner, especially a big partner, invest in their programs, go to their live events, become a student of theirs. And it works the other way also. If people start becoming a teacher or a student of yours, and they have great success, they're going to preach it, to the mountaintops and share what how you help them to everyone that they know. And that to me speaks to the power of joint ventures. It's a personal endorsement. It's one thing to say, oh, you should check out Melodee. I've heard good things about her. It's another thing to say, hey, I've worked personally with this woman. Here's the success I've had, and you can have the same success. So.
Oh, yeah. And there's really nothing like being able to say, oh, I did this for this thought leader, So when you get those people on your roster, they just become, endorsements for you on every level. Yeah.
I love it. So I have a closing question I want to ask you in a moment, and you kind of touched on it before, but before I get to that, I'm just curious, like, what are you up to this year? What are you excited about in your business right now? Share that if you could.
Well, I'm really excited. Like, I do believe that books are a great way to get credibility, but the thing that I've found that's even better since I've been working with my people this year is video. So I've been working with my entrepreneurs on their video presence, on how they make videos, how they are on video. And I developed a product called the Media Business Card. And so I'm helping them create their media presence and then getting them on TV. So I'm very excited about this. This is a whole new branch for me that I'm excited about. Years ago, 20 some years ago, I used to actually direct a television show. And so I have some previous experience, but the technology has completely changed now. And so I'm very excited to be diving back into it at this level and help entrepreneurs get on TV.
So when you say TV, what do you mean? Online TV, actual TV?
So TV is changing. As you can see, people are watching TV through Roku and different kinds of platforms out there. Right. And so what I've done is I've hooked up with Entrepreneurs TV Network, and which is actually getting on Roku and all these other platforms so that people can have a TV show on platforms that will be seen all over the world and included in smart TVs and things like that.
And what kind of shows are you seeing are the most beneficial? Is it where I'm interviewing other people, or it's just following my journey? Like what are you seeing is...
Well, there's many different things that are of interest to people. I mean, interview shows are great, but documentaries are also really good. And even just teaching, like I want you to imagine like sharing, let's say your course. And, what we would do is we design a TV series with your course instead of you just a talking head. There's so many more interesting things you can do visually with a TV show and doing some kind of a series. Yeah.
Love it. So you still like books?
Oh, I love books. Have to have a book. You have to have a book. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree with that one. It's funny. Every now and then someone will ask me for a business card, and I'm like, I haven't had a business card in 20 years. I've written 3 books, and those are my business cards. And it sounds like, what'd you call it? A digital? What was the term?
Media business card, which will be a video essentially of who you are, what it is that you do, and why you do it.
I love it. Melodee, I could talk to you all day. I love this conversation. The only thing I don't like about these interviews is that we keep them kind of short. So we're going to wind it down. But I did want to ask you that final question that we kind of touched on before. So like we've said, I'll bring this full circle. If people just did what we told them, they would pretty much succeed every time. It's not that complicated. So creating an online course, doing a live event, writing a book, having a TV show, whatever the thing is, like the common thread in all these is that it forces people to put themselves out there. And when you have to put yourself out there, you're going to be faced with all of your shit, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we're saying. Like, this is the beauty of the work that we do, is it forces you to do your own work,
Yeah.
which is great. And you get paid to do it, which is the best part. So what do you say to that person who's just like, oh, I'm afraid to really put myself out there, help me get through that block? What do you say to those people that are watching right now and might say like, oh, this all sounds great, but it's easy for Melodee or Rich or whatever. What do you say to that person?
Well, get a coach that you have to be accountable to. That's all I can say, is you have to take action. You don't need all of those things, okay? If you don't have a book and you don't have a course and you don't have all of these products already to sell, you still have your knowledge to sell. And there is action you can take right now, today, to actually make some money. So that's the first thing, that's the first order of business, is you have to start making money. And there's ways to do it without all those things while you're building those things. You don't have to wait till you have them. And I think that's the biggest misconception, because people will spend years making these things and then they're outdated by the time they get them done and they haven't made any money. Okay, you gotta start making money immediately. And if you don't know how to do that, talk to somebody who does, and then get the help to do that right now. Action today.
Like I said earlier, I've been coaching forever, and I don't think I very rarely actually ever have told someone something they didn't already know.
Right.
Like, people typically know what they need to do, and really what they're paying for is that accountability is really what it's all about. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Okay, so we're gonna wind this down, Melodee. It's been an honor and a privilege to get to know you in the last 20 minutes or so, and I'm excited to watch your journey as it continues to unfold and support you. And I just want to say in closing to everybody watching, I hope that you got a lot of value from this conversation. If, like Melodee, you're a coach, a consultant, an author, a speaker, an expert of any kind, and you want not only that accountability, but also exposure via things like podcasts and telesummits, having the opportunity to speak on people's stages, just imagine being in a community of amazing, great joint venture partners who are here and ready to spread the word about you. And this is really what we have at JVIC. We are the #1 community of JV partners who support each other in sharing each other's messages so that you can get more clients, make more money, and really at the end of the day, it's about making the biggest impact possible. So Melodee is a wonderful example of the power of our community, and we hope that you will consider joining us also. You can get more information by just going to joinjvic.com, joinjvic.com. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Melodee, and I'll talk to you soon.